just finished work about an hour or so ago. Finished work, drove home, chucked all my fishing gear in the car, all the sleeping gear, all the bits and pieces I think might need, hooked the boat up. Now we've hit the highway, heading up around the sort of like the Bundaberg region. Hit some of the creeks and that up there, hopefully be able to pull some barra jacks, maybe some salmon. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Generally when I'm planning these sorts of trips, I normally got a pretty good idea of where I think I might want to go at the start of the week, but I never lock it in till, you know, the sort of Thursday or even a Friday morning, depending on the weather, because there's nothing worse than going somewhere and being blown out by the wind and not being able to explore. You know, you're only restricted to certain parts of the creeks that are out of the wind, and you can't really fish a lot of where you want to fish, and it makes exploring pretty hard. I love doing these sorts of trips. Mainly for the barra, but the amount of bycatch, you know, the diversity these systems have. You could be catching jacks, threadfin salmon, blue salmon, you know, all your other common bycatches like cod, trevally, flathead, that sort of thing. Not only that, the bloke at the shop cooks a pretty mean burger, but yeah, it is mainly for the barra, you know. At home, you know, you might spend, sometimes I spend, you know, 12 hours, a full day, dawn till dusk on the water, and you might fish that whole amount of time. You might get one bite, one good fish. Plus that, you look at those banks every weekend, you know, this just gives you something different to look at. There's some pretty awesome scenery up here, you know, there tends to be a lot more wildlife and that up here to look at. Just different sort of structures to what we get back home. Google Earth can be a really handy tool when you're planning trips like this, you know. The quality of the picture you get from the satellites and that these days, you can almost, you know, pick what snags, how big the snag is. You can definitely see rock bars, so you can see sandbanks, you can see where the channels are. You know, if you want to, you could print out a picture of what you're seeing on the satellite and actually map that out when you're going, so, you know, you're spending less time pushing your boat over sandbanks and more time getting to where you want to fish, sort of thing. Tides play a big part in a trip like this. I've got the tides that I like fishing, which I've slowly worked out after doing, you know, numerous trips up here throughout the year. But I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to let you get up here and work it out for yourself. Once you do a few trips up here, you get a fair bit of an idea of when the fish are going to bite and what areas they'll bite and on what tide. And once you nut it out, you can be in for some pretty awesome fishing. The gear I take away with me on these trips, I always have me bait cast rods and reels, you know. Bait cast reels, they give you so much control, you know. If you got a fish pulling line, heading for, you know, any sort of structure, whether it be rock or tree or whatever, you can put your thumb down on them just for a bit more pressure. You can still leave your other hand on the handle of the reel and wind. And if you've got an electric motor, you can move it out with your foot as well, you know, a foot pedal anyway. It's not like if you've got an iPilot or something like that, you got to take your hand off the reel to steer your electric away. I still have a couple of like medium to heavy spin rods as well, mainly just for long distance casting. You know, if you want to cover a bit more ground a lot quicker, you know, you can get a lot longer cast out with a spin gear. But yeah, like I said just before, bait cast gear is, yeah, it's a must-have in these sorts of fishing situations. The lures I generally like to bring on these trips, always, you just got to have a paddle tail with barra, jacks, salmon. You just got to have that action. I like a lot of the, you know, 4 and 3 inch range from Z-Man. Jig heads, or anywhere from sort of 1/4 to 3/8 should cover everything you'll come across up here. Also, I like to throw a few hard bodies around. 100mm Lucky Craft pointers are always a winner, as well as your atomic shiners, you know, 75 to 85mm ones of those. always upgrade the terminal tackles on them, upgrade the split rings, upgrade the treble hooks. Got a few other ring-ins, you know, like prawn stars. Every so often might throw an umbrella rig out there just for something different. Throw spinner baits every now and then just for something different. A lot of the time something totally out there can get a bite when nothing else will.
Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction.
Try to bite my style on wax, on watch these lyrics crack your teeth. Lyrics crack your teeth. Lyrics crack your teeth. Lyrics crack your teeth. Try to bite my style on wax, on watch these lyrics crack your teeth. Lyrics crack your teeth. Lyrics crack your teeth. Lyrics crack your teeth. Try to bite my style on wax, on watch these lyrics crack your teeth.
Generally we put in pretty big days on these sorts of trips, you know. You might be on the water from anywhere from you know, 12 to 15 hours, you know. I've had trips where we've found fish on the sound, you know, cast at them for 8 hours and haven't even got a bite off them. But if you do get a bite, it's all worth it. Like one trip we spent, it would have been about 6 hours sitting on this one school of barra. I threw every lure I had in my tackle box and then pulled out a 3-hook umbrella rig, chucked it out, and within 10 minutes had a 97 centimetre barra bait, which is still my PB actually. But just goes to show you that if you get the bite, it can make your whole trip. Like one bite makes a trip. You fish all day for that one bite on these sorts of trips.
Lyrics crack your teeth. Try to bite my style on wax, on watch these lyrics crack your teeth.
Probably the most important thing when you're doing these sorts of trips is get yourself a good quality swag. A lot of the places where we go, there is accommodation, you know, caravan parks and that, but not actually booking the trip in until a Thursday or even a Friday morning. It's generally pretty hard to get into these places, so a lot of the time after fishing all day on the water, it doesn't really matter where you sleep, you know, you pretty much sleep where you drop. At least if you've got a decent swag, you know, you can get a good night's sleep and get up and do it all again in the morning. Anyway, it's almost dark. We're just gonna stop in at Big Gympie Servo and grab a feed, and we'll catch you in the morning. It looks something good here. I think it might be another, I don't know, it might be another blue salmon, I think. Good fish, whatever it is. Slugging it out. It's got some weight to it, whatever it is. Oh, that didn't feel good. It's charging. I think it's definitely going to be a bluey, the way it's going. We've actually been looking for tarpon. We've just been fishing underneath the schools of tarpon and hopping thready buses along the bottom, and this fish has come along, whatever it is. I'd say it's going to be a blue salmon. There it is, whatever it was. This is what we were talking about on the way up, you know. One bite can make a trip, and this could be it. What is it? Is it a bluey or is it a big trev, is it? It is. Yeah. Oh well, not what I thought. It's a pretty good sized trevally, but oh well. Probably gonna be around that 60 centimetre sort of size. Good size bloody creek trev. He's waffed that lure down too. Absolutely scoffed it. Alrighty, we'll just try to get this lure out. It's pretty deep, but he's not hooked in the gills. He's just one hook's in the roof of the mouth and the other one's just through the jaw there. So it's always handy to have a good set of long nose pliers. And we should be able to hopefully get it on the hook there. Pop that one out like that. And then pop this other one out. That should be right. We'll get him back in the water and hopefully catch another one. Try to bite my style on wax on my these lyrics crack your teeth.
Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction.
If you're in the market for a brand new engine, whether it's in the 135 or the 150 range, go check the guys out at Brisbane Marine there. It was really good to go down and see a nice clean workshop. They allowed me to come in and see the engine being put on, which is really good. Tony, the man that actually fit out the boat for me, a good friend, fit it all out for me in front of me, and we had it all on, and then we got to choose the prop, go out and test it. And it was just a really, really easy process. So if you've got a bit of time, check out them guys down at Brisbane Marine at Clontarf, and they'll be able to help you out for sure.
Outwards a road trip, whether it's taking the family away on an adventure or whether it's a solo trip like Ned's, just getting out there into this beautiful country and exploring some new water or revisiting a favourite spot that you haven't been to for years. You know, escape the hustle and bustle, just load up some gear, even if it's just the basics, and just get away and have a good time, find a few fish. It allows you to find some new species as well, and maybe even crack a new PB as well while you're out there. One thing that Ned did mention on his adventure is that he always carries a few paddle tail plastics with him. And paddle tails are an awesome universal sort of plastic that are great for beginners right through to experienced anglers, because that paddle tail is loaded with action. So you don't have to do a lot. You cast that plastic out there, on the drop that paddle tail's working. As soon as you move it, the paddle tail's working, and when you start rolling that lure or whatever your retrieve is, that paddle tail is going to be putting vibration and movement through the water and drawing those predators to the lure. In terms of paddle tails, there's probably three main paddle tails that I carry in my kit, and I know they're favourites of Ned's as well. There's a 3-inch minnows. So that's a 3-inch minnows there that he often rigs on a 1/4 ounce jig head when he can get away with it in terms of tidal flow. As the current gets stronger, you might need to step up to 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce, but that 1/4 ounce is a beautiful jig head weight and gives that plastic a really natural sink and good presentation in the water. So 3-inch minnows is a popular one. If you want to step up your profile size a bit, you can step up to a 4-inch diesel minnows. Slightly larger, longer profile, great on species such as jacks and those sorts of things. And then from there, another popular one is the 4-inch swimmer's paddle tail, and that's got a bigger flatter paddle tail on there. So lots and lots of action, even when you slow it down to a dead slow retrieve, which can be good when the water's cooler or, you know, the fish are a bit more finicky. That swimmers comes into its own. So you can see all of those are pretty much mullet sort of profiled or bait fishy profiled, and that's such a good forage species for those predatory fish. So a lot of them will eat those mullet and that sort of thing. So there's some pretty good prime mullet representations there. A few different colours in there as well, and a lot of people say to me, oh, you know, how do I choose a colour with plastics? You know, in your minnows you've got 24 colours, where do I start? I generally say to people, if it's predominantly clean, clear water that you're fishing, go for more of a natural, lighter sort of colour. If you're stepping into dirtier water, more murky water, more sediment in the water, go for a darker, more silhouette colour, like a gold rush or a mud minnow, or those sort of darker silhouette colours. And also a bit of gold flake, a bit of gold flash can be excellent in dirty water, especially for barra and salmon and jacks and those sorts of things. Then, if your natural colours and your darker colours aren't firing, you throw your hands in the air, walk around for a bit, and then put on a fluoro. Seriously, if nothing else working, a fluoro colour puts it right in their face and it'll turn the fish on as well. So I know when we fish the Flathead Classic, run in tight on the Goldie, nice clean water, lighter sort of colour. Water run out, dirtier water, throw a darker colour. And if neither are working, we've had some great sessions on the Flatties and stuff on that, on the fluoro colours. So that's our paddle tail plastics. Loads of action, whether you're slow rolling them, whether you're hopping them, whether you're burning them a bit quicker. You notice this one here, so those are rigged on a standard Headlocks HD jig head, which locks that Z-Man Placky in place. This one here is a bit different, and that's weedless rigged. And some of the country that Ned gets into and fishes chasing jack and barra and that sort of thing, he's putting that plastic right in amongst that structure, deep in the structure, especially in the cooler weather when the fish are sulking and holding right in there. So sometimes you may want to rig weedless like this one is here. So that's on a Snake Locks, TT Lewis Snake Locks jig head. And you can see the barb and point of the hook are pressed in against the plastic up there virtually. And that allows you to bump it through some crazy structure without snagging up. When the fish hits it, the plastic clears the hook and you hook the fish. So in terms of weedless rigging, the Snake Locks has that free swinging hook for maximum action, get the most out of your paddle tail. 75-pound through test stainless steel wire that joins that to the weighted head. And the good thing with these guys is you can actually mix and match and swap your hook sizes and your heads as well. So all you do is actually just twist that plastic on the head, and you can twist the plastic and the head separately. So that means when you're setting yourself up, you know you might want some 3/0s for your 3-inch minnows, some 4/0s for your 4-inch swimmers. So buy some 1/4 ounce 3/0s, 3/8 3/0s, and then maybe some 1/6 or 3/8 in a 4/0, just so that you can mix those head weights with you. So you've got a good kit of stuff with you in terms of variety when you're on that road trip, because chances are you're not going to be able to get more gear when you're there. So mix and match, 3/0s, 4/0s for those paddle tails. You can just twist that plastic off and on so that you can rig it weedless on that head. In terms of rigging weedless, let's rip one out of the packet and give you a quick demo. So this is the Swimmers. Got a bit of a cult following for the mangrove jack guys, and also when the bite's tough, because of that big paddle tail, you can slow it right down. And that's our Snake Locks jig head. All we do is we punch the hook point through the center of the nose of the plastic, and we basically want to end with it locked in that chin lock there. So we only want to grab its chin. So into the barb, out through its chin. So we've grabbed that chin of the plastic with that hook. Pull it around, lock your fingers in there, and we want to just push it up over so that it locks into that chin lock, and then spin it around. So you can basically see there, all we've done is captured the chin of the plastic in that Snake Locks jig head with that chin lock keeper there. Measure where we want it to pop out at the back there, and then it's just a matter of popping it in through the rigging channel there and out through the top there, and away we go. We're ready to fish right in amongst a snag. Belly there on the Swimmers and the diesel minnows, the belly opens, which is a great place there to add a bit of scent as well. So there you go, paddle tail plastics, perfect for your road tripping, wherever you may be traveling in this beautiful country. Get out there.
Today's Loren's tip is Structure Scan. Structure Scan is a tool that looks out each side of your boat. So in shallow waters, when you're looking for bream, you might run it out to 60 foot each side, or around sort of that 10 to 20 metres. When you're looking for bigger targets, in deeper water, you can range it right out up to 200-300 feet each side of your boat. The best way to describe how it works is you've got a torch shining out each side of your boat. When it hits a target, it's going to leave a sonic shadow behind it. So, for instance, when you see a tree or something like we can see on the screen here, you can actually see the shadow behind it. Fish will also show up the same way, so you'll get a nice bright white dot, and then you'll see that shadow behind it. And obviously, the more you zoom in, you get a lot more detail. The more you zoom out, you get to cover more area. So I like to use it when I'm chasing jew and snapper. I even find the bait out to the sides as well. So as you can see here, we've got a lot of trees sort of out to the right-hand side of the boat, and you can actually see there's actually a lot of bream mixed in around those trees. So what we can do is pinpoint the fish out to the side, put a waypoint on those fish. That waypoint's then going to throw over and jump onto our chart, and then we can turn around, position the boat on top of them, and fish or out to the side, cast those fish. And we're not fishing ground where there is no fish or no structure. So it's a very beneficial tool for your fishing. Something you should learn how to read, and you'll get a lot more fish on the boat. Hope that helps you next time you're on the water.